In the path of wisdom, we investigate what makes us suffer. Why that investigation? It is because by becoming aware of what is making us suffer, then new options come forward. If we are not aware, then there is nothing we can do about it. Now, of course, in this process of introspecting and going within, looking within, you start with basic things. Like, for example, you start looking for your feelings. You become aware at some point that you have specific feelings that you can label as such and such, and they are creating suffering. So these feelings, normally we call them emotions, can be described with one word. Otherwise, we are talking about something else, not an emotion. Those words are, for example, anger, sadness, fear, and so on. As we deepen our introspection, it comes the time that we realize that, hey, there are thoughts here. I don't know if you remember the first time that you realized that you have thoughts, that you became aware of your thoughts. That's a big step forward. Then you begin to work with your thoughts, hopefully, because you realize that your thoughts are controlling the way you feel, and therefore if you change your thoughts, and also most especially your beliefs, your life improves. But as you keep deepening this introspection through different mental objects, including your desires, motivations, expectations, and so on, one day, hopefully, you will come to notice that in the mind-body organism there is something that is not a thing, something that you cannot point as a thing different from another thing. At some point, hopefully you will become aware that there is awareness. That there is awareness in the mind-body system. That through the whole process of introspection, when you became aware of the emotions, later you became aware of your thoughts, later you became aware of your deepest motivations, that in all that process, throughout all that process, the tool that you were using to identify those objects was observation. These objects were observed, perceived, which, by the way, is a different word for awareness. Awareness is observation. Or you could say awareness and observation and perceiving and consciousness is the same, basically the same. In Spanish, you don't have two words for consciousness. You don't have the word awareness. You just refer to consciousness, because awareness and consciousness are the same. So let's say you came to a point in your introspection process where you become aware that there is awareness. At that point, you have taken a tremendous step forward in your spiritual progress. When you look through a window and you notice that there is awareness looking through the window. You begin to notice the presence of awareness in your experience. If you keep introspecting and looking into the nature of awareness now, you begin to discover more things. That this awareness is actually non-dual. It's not coming and going. That everything in your life comes and goes, but awareness stays there. It's the looking of all the things that are moving forward on the screen. But awareness is the looking, and is constantly there. While all the mental objects are appearing and disappearing. So to a great degree, the path of Advaita is about this introspection process that leads to introspect finally into the nature of awareness. Look into the nature of awareness. And when you begin to do this, to notice that awareness is not coming and going, it's always present, even at night. You are dreaming and there is awareness of the dream. Then at some point it will dawn on you, wow, this is amazing. Awareness is constantly here, 24/7. But everything else is coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. So what are all these mental objects that are coming and going, coming and going? A feeling appears and then disappears. A thought appears and then it goes. Well, what are all these mental objects? They don't seem to have reality anymore. Something that comes and goes doesn't seem to have an intrinsic reality. It's a form only. And it's true. Just notice that all mental objects are appearing, arising, and disappearing. All of them. Even all the objects that are around you, let's say this object, this Buddha, appears in nature when the artist carved the Buddha or the machine, and then it will disappear. One day it will be dust. So all objects also, all the objects that we can touch, that they look so solid, actually they are appearing and disappearing. And all bodies, including animal bodies, human bodies, your body, and plants' bodies, they are all arising and disappearing into nothing. They are just forms. Just forms. Nothing real. And then you realize also that the only thing in your experience that is not a form, that doesn't have form, is awareness. That everything else is forms. And awareness is formless. And this is something that you simply notice it. Like a good scientist that observes. In this case, the path of Advaita is a scientific path in the sense that it's all about observation in your own life. And the mental objects that are there, and the one thing that is not a mental object, that is awareness, the perceiving of the mental objects. But then when you realize that all mental objects, all objects in the universe are arising and disappearing, you begin to see that they cannot be real. And this is why Buddhism says what appears and disappears, what is impermanent, is not real. That's a fundamental principle of Buddhism. What is impermanent is not real. What is permanent is real. What is permanent in your own experience? Awareness is permanent. That never goes away. Everything else is appearing and disappearing. Even your identity. Your identity was formed during your early days of life, and one day it will fade also into nothing. But you, as awareness, not as the identity, not as the character so and so that you may have believed you are, you as awareness, you never disappear. But this noticing that all objects are coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, leads to a very simple realization that this world is a Oneiric world. It's Oneiric. It's a dream. Same as in a dream, objects arise and then they disappear. In this world, everything arises and disappears. It's a Oneiric world. It is not real. You are living in an Oneiric world, a dream world. That's where you're living in. So now, why bothering with this? Why it's valuable? Because if this realization goes a step beyond just an intellectual understanding, but to a point where you have an intuitive feeling that this world is Oneiric in nature, that is a dream world. Not just an intellectual understanding that you may get it just by watching this video, but step forward. The intuitive feeling that this world is a Oneiric world frees you from suffering, because you don't take the world and all the mental objects that are arising seriously. You know it's a dream. That intuitive feeling comes to you as grace. You can't force it. You can ask for it. You can ask the divine that you want to experience that intuitive feeling that this world is a dream world. It cannot be forced. You can do your part to understand all the arguments that I have been presenting to you, and that will put you at the door. But there is one more push that has to happen, and then you look around and you see, oh yes, everything is a dream. This is a dream world, nothing real. And that frees you from suffering. So many sages have said this through the years. Yogananda in particular, he said it quite nicely. He said, if you are capable of seeing the world as a dream, you are free. Actually, you are not capable of that. It comes by grace. You need to ask for it. But at the same time, the little work that you do watching this video and noticing that everything is coming and going in your own life puts you at the door. The intuitive feeling that has to come, that frees you from suffering, that is grace. But you can come right to the door. You can also write down a reminder like this. This is a Oneiric world, or this is a dream world. So that you see this reminder often and reminds you and prepares your subconscious mind to receive that revelation in all its splendor, because it is splendid. So this world is a Oneiric world. This world is a dream world. Every object that arises is impermanent. Arises and disappears. Arises and disappears. Like a soap bubble. No more than that. Civilizations appear and disappear. Planets appear and disappear. Galaxies, universes appear and disappear. Nothing real there. This is a Oneiric world, a Oneiric universe. Just enjoy it and don't take it too seriously.